Hi, this is the second circular arrangement problem in this lecture series that we'll discuss today. It's a little different from the last one. In this one, we'll deal with the case where not all the people are facing the center of the table. So there'll be people who will face the opposite direction, that is away from the table. Or in other words, their backs are towards the center of the table. The difference it makes in the problems like this is that when one changes his or her direction, the person sitting on the left or right no longer remains the same. It changes accordingly. So let's go to the problem and try and understand the situation through the problem only. The problem here mentions 8 individuals, 4 Indians and 4 Australians who are sitting around a circular table. 4 of them, 2 Indians and 2 Australians, are sitting in a regular manner, that is, they are facing the center of the table, whereas the rest 4 people are sitting in a rather awkward manner in the reverse direction, that is, their backs are facing the center of the table. With the help of the 6 statements given here, we need to figure out their exact seating arrangement. Now you should pause the video here, read the problem carefully first and attempt it. You should go to the solution only when you are done with solving the question on your own. The first step here would be to make a structure like this. It has 8 boxes to place 8 people in the circular arrangement. A box has been divided into 2 parts. The upper part would contain the names and the lower part the nationalities. Though you wouldn't be able to make such neat boxes in the exam, you would still do yourself a favor by writing data as clearly and systematically as possible while attempting the question. For example, if you're writing names first and then the nationalities, then follow this order throughout the course of solving the problem. Believe me, it makes a world of difference to the way you comprehend your own written words. So let's move to the statements now and try and crack this problem. The first statement that we would use here would be statement 3, which tells us that Nathan is the third person to the right of Rahul who is facing the center of the table. Now the structure does not have any entries at the moment, so we can place anybody anywhere in the beginning. So let's start with Rahul first. Let's place Rahul in the bottommost cell of this structure. We already know the nationalities of all these 8 individuals. Rahul is an Indian. This arrow here denotes that Rahul is facing the center of the table. Now Nathan is the third person to the right of Rahul. So Nathan's cell would be this one, the one highlighted in yellow now. So let's put Nathan here and move forward. We haven't put any arrow in the cell of Nathan because we still don't know if Nathan is facing the center of the table or away from the table. Statement 4 says that Bill and Sachin are sitting at diametrically opposite positions and facing each other. None of them is sitting next to Rahul or Arif. Now, if we have to find a pair of diametrically opposite positions, this is one option. The two cells highlighted in yellow. And this is another option. The two cells highlighted in blue. But look at where Rahul is sitting. It means that the blue cells are ruled out. So these two yellow cells now would be the positions of Bill and Sachin. And since we know that they are facing each other, let's put arrows like this. Now we know that these two positions belong to Bill and Sachin. But the problem is that we do not know which position belongs to Bill and which belongs to Sachin. So that's how we proceed. We divide this arrangement into 2 parts. And let's call the 2 arrangements case 1 and case 2. Case 1 shows the first possibility, whereas case 2 shows the second possibility. So the relative positions of Bill and Sachin are different in 2 cases. We have done this because we do not know the exact positions of Bill and Sachin. The way forward would be that whatever we do, whatever operation or tweaking or arrangement, we'll do in both the cases now on. Let's use statement 4 once more. It tells us that RF is not sitting next to either Bill or Sachin. So if we have to place RF in this structure, these positions are ruled out. And this is the only position left. So let's put RF into it. Now let's look at statement 6. It says that Michael is not sitting next to Rahul. Look at Rahul's cell, highlighted now. With the given condition, there is just one option left for Michael, the cell highlighted in yellow now. So let's put Michael there. You must have realized by now that we are doing this in both the structures simultaneously. Let's go to our next statement, statement 5, which says that no three Australians are sitting together. So that's a condition given in the problem. But look at the three highlighted cells in case 2. In these three cells, Sachin, Michael, and Arif appear to be sitting together. It means that case 2 is violating the condition, and so it's incorrect. So case 2 is ruled out, and we are just left with case 1. So we are now left with just one case, the first one. Or should I say, no cases exist anymore? Yeah, that definitely sounds more appropriate. The one here now is a concrete structure since we have ruled out any other possibility. In fact, we should also remove this case 1 written here. That's the only one now, and we have to work around that only. So let's move forward and look at our next statement now. Now let's look at statement 1. It tells us that Jason is sitting at the second position to the left of Michael. Michael is sitting in the cell highlighted in blue. Now, though we know that Jason is sitting at the second position to the left of Michael, we still haven't figured out in which direction is Michael facing, towards the center or away from it. So let's for a moment assume that Michael is facing the center of the table. So in that case, second position to the left would be this cell, highlighted in yellow. But you can see that it's already occupied by Nathan. It means that our assumption that Michael is facing the center of the table was incorrect. So Michael should be facing away from the table. And the second position to the left of Michael would be this cell, highlighted in yellow now, in which we can write Jason's name safely. Let's move forward. We know that two Indians are facing the center of the table and two are facing away from the table. Look at Bill and Rahul. They're facing towards the center. It means that the other two Indians, Nathan and Jason, have to face away from the table. Moving forward, look at the cell highlighted in yellow now. There's just one person left whose name is yet to appear on the table, Tuscan. So we have no option but to write Tuscan here. Now let's look at statement 2. It says that Arif is sitting at the third position to the left of Tuscan. Again, we do not know in which direction is Tuscan facing. Let's assume that he is facing the center only. Then the third position to the left of Tuscan would be this cell, in which Bill is placed. So it's not possible for Arif to occupy it. It means that our assumption that Tuscan was facing the center of the table was incorrect. He must be facing away from the table. Now if we check third position to Tuscan's left, it's Arif only, the way it should be. So the arrangement now is absolutely correct. And since out of the four Australians, two, Michael and Tuscan, are already facing away from the table and Sachin is facing the center of the table, Arif should be the second Australian who is facing the center of the table. So we mark an arrow like this. With this, we have figured out the exact seating arrangement of the 8 individuals. So this was it. I'm sure you could follow it without much trouble. Please remember that this situation of different people facing different directions in these problems don't make them unsolvable. In fact, you will see how we solve much tougher questions on circular arrangements going forward. But our next tutorial would be dedicated to a problem on rankings. Again, quite a popular question type when it comes to different comparative examinations. Goodbye and take care.